All right, welcome to lesson number 1, the Photoshop Workspace. Now, we're going to break this down into a series of mini lessons. We're going to be talking about an overview of the workspace. We'll talk about how to move and arrange the panels into a workspace that you like. We'll talk about the new mini bridge, which is a new way that you can open up files in CS5. Talk about navigation, how to zoom in and out on a document. Sounds easy, but there's a lot of nifty things you can do here in CS5. We'll also talk about rulers and guides, and finally the preferences. But we're going to start here, sort of lesson 1A, with an overview of the workspace. Now, if you look at the top of Photoshop, you'll find the Photoshop logo, and next to that, we'll see some shortcut buttons. And below that, we'll see a typical operating system menu. You see the equivalent on the Mac as well. Now, on your machine, you may have all of these on one row, the menu items and the little icons. The reason being because you have a wider monitor. I'm stuck with this 1024 pixel wide monitor, so not everything will fit on one row. On your version of Photoshop, when it's opened up completely on one of the wide monitors, you'll have the menus over to the left, and right after that, you'll see all the icons. Of course, my icons are up here across the top. It's very good for you to open up these menus and see what's in them, but I can tell you with Photoshop and like a lot of other Adobe products, there's like a million ways to do these things. I mean, you don't need to hit undo. You can just use the keyboard shortcut of Control-Z. Rarely do I come to these menus because most of what I need is over here in the panels or somewhere else. But it's always good to know what's there. So get used to them, take a look through them all, and become familiar with what type of items you have here in the menus. To the right of that, on your wider monitors, you'll find all of the little icons. The first one here opens up the bridge. Now, we're not going to cover bridge here in this course. We're going to be using the mini bridge to open up our files. But just to let you know, I do have a course on the bridge. It's a short course, and you might want to do that as well. Next, we have the link to the mini bridge. If you click this, it'll open up the mini bridge panel. We'll take a look at that shortly. We have a way to turn on or off guides, rulers, or grids. We have a way to zoom in and out. It's grayed out right now because we don't have an image open. Next to that, we have a way that we can arrange photos if we have multiple photos open. Maybe you want to see 3 next to each other or 4 stacked on top of each other. Mainly, you just leave it in this consolidate all, which you just see one image at a time. And the final icon here allows us to choose different screen modes, ways to view our photos, either in Photoshop right now or get rid of Photoshop and just show the full screen view. We'll take a look at those later on as well. If we move a little to the right, you will see some shortcuts to different workspaces. Workspaces are just arrangements of the panels. Now, you won't see the Steve workspace because I created that myself, but the rest of these all come loaded with Photoshop. If you come all the way over here and click this little arrow, you'll see a list of the different workspaces Photoshop comes with. The Essentials is what you get by default, and that's what you see right now. It's definitely not the best way to work, and in the next lesson, we're going to take a look at how we can rearrange these panels into a layout that is much more effective. This right here is really just a shortcut to workspaces that you can get right in the window menu. You'll see workspace, and you'll see all those same menu items right here. They just added this new shortcut bar across the top. I think they added that in CS4. Can't remember, but I believe it's CS4 when that came around. The last thing you'll see here is CS Live, and this is a new service that Adobe offers that works with all the Creative Suite products. What you can do is share your work with customers or coworkers. You can put your photographs, your InDesign layouts, your videos, you put them on the internet. Everybody can get together who's invited and look at it and make comments. You can make comments on the telephone, or you can even tag it with notes, just like you can in Adobe Acrobat. Later on, the person who's responsible for the work can read the notes, make the changes, and then everybody can get together and have another conference. We're not going to cover that here in class, but if you want more information, be sure to check out Adobe's website. It is a service that you have to pay for, and you may have noticed when you open up Photoshop the first time around or any of the Adobe products, you're asked to sign up to get an Adobe user ID. I would recommend, if you're not going to use CS Live, just click cancel or don't do it. And after a certain number of times that it asks you, that screen will just go away. If you sign up within a month of registering, I believe you get a free trial version of CS Live. After that, there's a monthly fee for it. Down here we have our toolbox, and we'll look at all these tools throughout the course, or most of them, not all of them. There is some 3D tools down here. I don't cover 3D in any of my courses. I don't use 3D. I'm more of a graphic designer for layout and maybe web stuff. Notice that whatever tool I click on right here, this bar right here changes every single time. That's the options panel. We can see that over here in the window, a list of all these panels, and down here at the bottom is the options panel. The options panel is vital because whatever tool you click on, you have to get to the different options to make it work. So this panel needs to be open all the time. Again, we will discuss the different tools as we proceed throughout the course. If we were to open an image, we would see it in this area right here. I'm not sure if there's an actual name for this area. If there is, it's not all that important. We're not going to open up any images until we get to the mini bridge lesson, not too far from now. That's the new way that you can open up images in Photoshop. And finally over here we have what are called panels. Now panels have all sorts of options that we're going to need to work effectively in Photoshop, and we'll cover many of these panels during this course. For example, if you wanted to make colors, you would come up here and maybe slide these sliders and create colors for the color panel. And that is an overview of the Photoshop workspace. In the next lesson, we'll take a look at how we can move and rearrange these panels and come up with a layout that's going to make working in Photoshop a lot more effective.